Hello and welcome back. I'm Kendall Coleman, and this is One Step Ahead Practical Wisdom for Uncertain Times. And I'm really excited today because we have Angela. And Angela, would you say your last name for me? This is one.
It's Thank you for asking. It's Cring, and it's pronounced like Kringle, like Kris Kringle. Think Christmas. Put a K on there, and it'll be pronounced correctly. But yes, it's Cring.
Great. So, Angela Cring is a certified event producer, and I am so thrilled to have her here. And I'm going to just pull up my.
I'm very excited to be
So,
here. Yeah, and in the inaugural season, I just found out of this
yes.
podcast, so I'm very. That's such an honor.
Great. I am so honored to have you. Today is May 21st, 2026. And yes, this is our third episode. And really what our goal is being a coach. One of our premises and one of our sort of brand promise is to help leaders, to help coaches, to help and entrepreneurs stay one step ahead. Let's face it, raise your hand if what things are wildly uncertain right now. And people are asking me, Kendall, how do I know how to plan and forecast my future for my company, for my employees? And one of those is obviously we want to talk about the current environment as it relates to events. So before I get into my first question, because I'm chomping at the bit here I want to introduce you to Angela Cring. She is based in the vibrant city of Las Vegas, Nevada. As a certified event producer and owner of ACE Events, Angela specializes in crafting transformational experiences for a diverse range of clients, speakers, coaches, authors, companies, and leaders nationwide. Her expertise and her infectious enthusiasm, which I can absolutely attest to because I sort of hook my cart to Angela's enthusiasm and say, okay, we're in this together. And that's one of the beautiful things you bring to your clients is that sense of togetherness, and we're collaborating, we're partnering for your clients to be successful. And that really comes through in everything you're doing. But she also ignites stages and virtual spaces alike. So don't think of this as just an in person event, but also how can I leverage those virtual spaces, empowering speakers to deliver their messages with impact. Whether it's an in person event, a virtual gathering, or a hybrid experience, Angela is who you need to bring your life. Your events to life and spaces that amplify the passion and vision of her clients, ensuring that their messages resonate powerfully with audiences. So, welcome, Angela.
Thank you so much. And I kind of put it as I spend my life preventing preventable disasters with headsets and spreadsheets. I guess. But the strategy of it, it can all be prevented in the
Yeah.
front end. Yes.
Yeah, and one of the most important aspects to all of our speakers is what is their big why? What is the reason that you wake up every day with that compelling pull out of bed every morning to say my true north is to help transform people's events so that they're remembered, repeated, and people want to come back for more. So what is that for you? What was there an origin story that you'd like to share or
Yeah, well, right. Yeah, there is an origin story, and kind of my job is making high pressure situations look calm and intentional, even when the backstage is otherwise. So, no, people don't know what's going on. But I actually came into this through live production. Like I was in theater environments and backstage operations, and eventually large transformational events. And what happened is I ran away from college. I ran away with the symphony or the circus. I say it sometimes. I ran away with the circus. I ran away with the symphony, and went on the
oh,
road and decided to do 18 months of improv work with the theater and the symphony, and that kind of got me into events from a very young age, and the experience of what can happen in a room with people that are together and live. There's nothing like live theater if you've ever been to it, because it's always different, always changing. It's unpredictable, and a lot of people hate that environment, because it brings up a lot of anxiety, and that's something I just love. I love all the feels about it, and all the energy, and what fascinated me to go into the theater, and then I eventually ended up in rock and roll. So I did some rock and roll touring for a while, which I loved. I loved the energy, the smell of the semis and the trucks and the road cases and the energy of the lights. And then I fell into transformational events. So I attended an event in Miami as an attendee. And I watched the room and saw the speaker, who was a coach, a business coach, walking people through the experience. And I was like, this is very much like what I do, but the people are a lot nicer. They're kinder. They want to be better. They're trying to improve themselves, and the hosts are kinder. So I thought I kind of want to hitch my horse to this environment. It's still events, but it's transformational, and and I get a little benefit of being in the sphere of all of these wonderful authors and coaches and speakers, and the messages and the healing and the teaching that they're bringing to the rooms.
Mm. All right, excellent. What a great
Yeah.
story. And
Yeah.
I love the idea of running away with the symphony. How fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so were you in the symphony, or were you helping to orchestrate behind the scenes?
I did a little bit of everything. It was part of like a 6-person team. So through that, I got to be roadie, I got to be booking agent, I was press agent, I was an actress because there was a little bit of that in there. I played saxophone, I worked on prop mastering. It was a college of theater. I learned a little bit of everything, all of which I use still. It's funny how those things work
Absolutely.
out.
Right. And so when you listed all those, are those aspects of how you would support somebody who's putting on a transformational event, that you would add all of those? Okay, let's make sure that we're booking, to use the bookie, we're booking you, we're communicating a press release, um, notifying the press in terms of that you're going to be here. Let's make sure we're getting you the visibility. And so I'll maybe besides, and then if you need to be an actor, you can jump up on stage and if it's
Be
a
the MC for a minute.
yeah,
Yeah. If we need
be the
an
MC.
impromptu MC moment. Yeah, I can jump up and do that. It really did prepare me.
Great.
And I do use that because a lot of people, what they think about events, they think I need to do an event. I want to do this 3-day event. All these other people are doing it. They look great. They're building their business. I want to do it. And then they go into logistics. Okay. Venue and what are they going to eat? And what is the content? But, I like to take them from the beginning and to strategize of like, okay, so what is this going to feel like when they leave? And more importantly, for my coaches and leaders who are offering additional support, like how are we going to offer that to the attendees to where they can take advantage of your 12-month program and continue to grow and expand their businesses or their personal life or their finances or their intimacy. I've worked with all those coaches, and being able to say, okay, from the beginning, when they walk into the room, we want them to feel this. And when on the second day, they want to feel this, and we want them to walk out with these tools and this inspiration and also these tangible skills, and then starting at the very beginning with that. And then that helps shape the entire process of putting together this event. Because if a team is disorganized, the audience feels it,
Yeah.
and if the leadership feels frantic, the room feels unstable. And the more work that I do kind of in working with these more somatic coaches, like I get the reasoning for that. If the communication's unclear backstage, somehow it leaks outside. If the team's showing up late, then the attendees somehow energetically show up late. So this is all important to presence and put at the beginning of the planning process so that the end result is looking and feeling the way that you intended. But it needs intention. And I know a lot of people
Yeah.
they skip that step because they think, it's about, how much is it going to cost? And, how are we going to sell tickets? Yeah, that's important. And I walk my clients through all of those things step by step. But the most important is how are they going to feel? What are we intentioning this for? And how is this event different than anything
Yeah.
else that other people are offering out there? Why is this unique? Why is it Why is it going to drive people to come to you as opposed to come to somebody else? So I bring all of that to working with my clients and putting on their event. And that's why I am an event producer as opposed to an event planner. So the big difference
Love that.
is event planner is you bring me your plan and I execute. Event producer is someone who kind of sees the 30,000 foot bigger picture of like, what is this whole thing coming together and looking like? So that's when I
Mm,
get that question, like, what, why do you call yourself a producer? You know, that's
love that.
because that's more in alignment with what it is that I bring to my clients and what my business does.
Yes. I love that word too. I use that with my clients all the time that no, my job is to help produce you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because you're seeing all the elements of when they're speaking and how they're showing up and what they're wearing on stage. You know, all those things are important to the whole package.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. So, walk them through what is that client experience timeline that you would walk them through? You said you really start with intention and helping
Mm-hmm.
them embody and get that vision for how do you want people to feel? How do you want them to be experiencing you, your work? What's the mood? What's the vibe? And then how do you want them walking out and probably signing up for more? Would you help with that in terms of really crystallizing the offer part of the day? Do you help put that scripting together to create the feel, or is it more in the brainstorming that the person
Right.
then becomes awakened to?
I actually can do all of those things depending on what my clients need because they're all in different places. Like I'm starting with a new client who has been doing masterminds and retreats for numerous years. And this is her first 3 day event. So I'm helping her kind of build this. And this is in Amsterdam in September. And because
Oh,
she hasn't done it yet. So like I can bring in, like I've seen thousands of pitches and thousands of offers in this space. So I do have experience with all of that. So when I start with my client, we start with the vision. We do a series of 12 calls, and each one of those calls are kind of outlining a specific part of what the event needs. And that's one of them is the ticket map of, where are these people going to come from and what is the offer? And the offer comes pretty early in the planning because that the offer influences the run of show and it influences what the ticket sales page is promising, because you promise them one thing of what they're going to get out of the event, and then the offer is a whole other promise. It's something they don't even figure
yes.
out that they need until they're in the room. So that's much different messaging. So it's important to have those separate. And then we walk through what the run of show is and what the look and feel is. What's on the stage? What's on the tables when they walk in? What's in the swag bag? And my favorite one is how are they going to make money? And then we start to talk about different things that maybe they haven't thought about in the process of putting together events, sponsors or swag bag sponsors or stage speakers or a myriad of different ways to make money in an event beyond just the offer.
Yeah.
And ticket sales, of course, people like to a lot of people think, well, the ticket sales are that's how I'm going to make money. And that's not necessarily true in this environment. With people who you need kind of a lower ticket to get them into the room. And that may cover your expenses, but it's not a profit opportunity all the time. Your offer is really your profit
Right.
opportunity. And if you're not making an offer at your event, it doesn't matter what kind of event you're having and what kind of offer it is, you're just leaving money on the table. Because
Yeah.
once people are in the room with you, they get to know you, they want to learn more about you, then you need to tell them the way that they can do that.
Yes. Yeah, and raise your hand if you've put together an amazing event time after time, and yet you just are like, okay, wonderful to be with you, and thank you so much for coming. I hope you'll pass it on. I'm guilty because why?
Yes.
It's usually the last thing those
Mm-hmm.
coaches like I'm included in this, everybody. So I've done this. I know I put on events for 10 years sometimes and never had an offer except we can't wait to work with you when you call. And
Right. At least sell them a ticket to the next event
to
at
the
the
next
end.
thing,
Right. Because
right?
you got them in the room and they're hot, right? At least do
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yes. And
So
one of
you'll
the
have
other, yes, go ahead.
No, no,
One of the
go.
other things I see in leaders is they are the ones that put it all together and they forget to put themselves front and center. Like they relegate themselves to the MC and they never even give themselves a keynote.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is your event.
Right.
You need to be front and center. You need to open it, you need to close it, and you need a keynote. And if you're not doing that, why are we doing this?
Yeah. So and when you think about your clients right now that you're working with, or ones in the recent past, sort of what are the folks who really have successful events and those that don't, and what are those differentiators that you're seeing?
Well, I'm finding that the ones who have successful events, the kind of no-brainers, are the ones that already have a following, that have already
Yeah.
just worked really hard to build their email list, to build their social following, to get people to opt in to smaller events, and then they can pull from that to bigger events. And also, media is still a great way to pull people in. There's been, as far as socials are concerned, I'm not an expert on that, but I am finding that it isn't always the best use of money, depending on the season, as far as just buying ads and thinking people are going to come in to the event. It's more how much high touch can I get on these potential clients, and almost going back to, and I know that you talk about this too, like face to face, like what we're doing here, like showing
Yeah.
up, doing networking, going to a networking meeting, being in person. And more with AI on the rise, people are just craving that intimacy of an actual human being,
Yeah.
and knowing that your message is you speaking and not something that could be botted. Is that a word, bot?
Right. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love
Botted.
that.
We don't know. We don't know when
We
it's
don't
online, but when
know.
it's you and me in a room, it's me. I know it's
Right.
you. I feel your energy, and that's more important now than ever. And people want
Hmm.
to gather. They want to be in rooms with each other. So people thinking, oh, I don't want to do events for a myriad of reasons. No, now you need to do events because people are craving it. They need it. They're lonely. They want to have time to talk to each other, to learn something, to even travel. I'm encouraging people to definitely make that part of their business model if it's not already, because it can be very powerful.
Mm. And so are you seeing a trend towards a 1 day, a 2 day, or a 3 day, if you had to recommend something for somebody who maybe has a following
Mm-hmm.
and wants to go a step further?
I think one day is the great way to start. It's less expensive. It requires less time of people, and you can do a lot in one day. Your offer
Hmm.
can't be that high on a 1 day because people aren't getting to know you as well. But if you have
Mm.
not done a 3 day, which is a lot, it's amazing, but it's a lot to put together. A 1 day, I would recommend if you've never done it, start with your 1 day, make it a powerful, full of content, for have a small offer, and then do the 3 day.
Okay, so
Because
start with one and move to three.
start with one.
Okay.
Start with one. It's easier to get a venue. It's easier for people to commit time, and it gives you practice.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that's our favorite right now is a 1 day that we're doing, and I think I shared with you that what I love is that we partner with a law firm partner, and they give us the space, and as part of that, they can send two staff members, two team members, two attorneys to that program, and it's a win-win for everybody. And so I highly recommend, if you're listening to this going, I'd love to do a 1 day event, but I really can't, I can't really spend on a hotel right now or a nice facility to really have it look beautiful. Do you have ideas? Is that part of the brainstorming that you could bring? Where do we have this venue so that we're staying within budget and still creating a really nice experience?
Absolutely. I am not loving hotels these days. Between you and the audience, they've come out of COVID, and they are trying to reclaim all of that money that they lost by nickel and diming in new ways that I'm surprised every time. I had a hotel in Austin try to charge me Oh no, this was Caesar's Palace. They were trying to charge me for the power in the walls, not for extra power where you have to have a distro or anything, just power plug into the walls to plug in your laptop. They tried to make that an additional charge because it wasn't outlined in the
Oh
contract.
my goodness.
Is that?
Wow.
And it's things like that that, you need a producer to look at those contracts because, they're going to charge you for, they're going to charge you for power in the walls to turn on the lights, like that doesn't come with the room.
Wow.
So, yeah, so hotels are not my favorite. There are some upstart hotels that are trying to have some offers out there that are in, Southern California. I've seen some that are not big chains that are willing to work with you and do packages that are affordable, and
Mm,
they're beautiful places. But I always try to, and that's part of my offering too, is sourcing a venue and negotiating the contract with the venue, because food and beverage is a whole other thing that if you don't understand it can be overwhelming, because it's
right.
not the price they tell you, it's the price plus, which is 25% service plus tax. So 12,000 can be 16,000, and it's interesting. So I look for alternative venues. I've had people work with Airbnbs, which is touch and go because they have party
Mm,
policies where you have to, add more insurance or pay per person, so that it can be done. So that's an option. Also, alternative spaces like theaters and like you're doing, which is brilliant. Companies that already have spaces that they're not
right.
fully utilizing.
Yeah.
I had a client that was friends with this is silly, but a funeral home, and they had a whole like space that they only use twice a week. And they were like, you can have this space. It's weird because it's at a funeral home, but it was free. So if it works with what you're
Yeah.
offering, but that's just kind of like the quirky alternative places that you can go. A florist shop that has a meeting room, that
Yeah.
you can incorporate what they do, like
Really
do a
pretty. Good
flower making
idea. Yeah.
as part of your event, and where you're working that in and also plugging the company. It's there are all kinds of
I'll have to tell
options.
my friend about the I have a friend who's starting dead persons party planning for people who want to have a party before you die.
I
And
love it.
don't wait until you're
So
dead to have the
wait,
party where everybody
uh,
comes and talks about you and celebrates you. Do it while
and
you're
brings you
alive.
flowers,
Right.
and you get to enjoy them.
Yes. Does that sound so
Yes.
much better? Yeah.
Yes. What a great thing for an estate planner too. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay,
yes,
so
alternative venues are
yeah.
the way right now for affordability.
Yeah. Any others that you can recommend, or is that a good library? Is another one
A
that we
library is a
haven't
great
mentioned.
one.
They usually
A
have
library.
public rooms, and sometimes, I would definitely recommend going to check it out in advance. Of course, with all of these, go check it out in advance to make sure it's in alignment with what you're seeing, what you're. We did something in a co-working recently, and I was really glad we got there to look at it in advance because we had to move some things around,
Hmm.
and the audio was they it was a brand new building, but the audio, for some reason, they didn't build the audio into this master room, this big room. And so we had to, somebody had to run out and buy a microphone and a speaker. And not ideal, but again, that's why the run through is absolutely critical, and having somebody like Angela on your team who's leading all of this so you can focus on your great work, which is transforming lives.
Yes, and thank you because you and I both work in tech a little bit. I know you have
Yeah.
you offer video services for your speakers. And that's another thing with speakers is they don't really understand how AV works, and how would they? Like it's not something that comes up all the time, but they just think I show up and then the mic works or my slides will run, and that's just never the case, unfortunately. And having come
Yes.
up from production. I understand what all those things are. So you can look at it and be like, okay, you brought your laptop, but do you have those cables that plug into this to
Right.
make it work in this venue? You know, all those things, all those things are important, but aren't necessarily on their radar. And that's
Right.
why having a good support system of people who understand that is important.
Yeah, because if you are, let's say that technology fail does happen and your slides don't work, and this just happened at an event of mine, the one day event that I led, and the AV person took Fridays off, but who knew? No, we didn't even think
Oh,
to double
no.
check that. And so the most important is that if your slides don't work, what's most important is how you react to that. And can you really step up and be a creator in that moment? Or are you melting down in front of the room while everybody's watching you because your slides don't work? This is so
Mm-hmm.
important that you have either your slide deck on your phone or your iPad, or you print them if you have to, but having it for yourself so that you can absolutely run through it if you are relying on that for any reason. We teach people how to basically be spontaneous and be nimble in the moment, so you don't have to show your sweat up on stage while things don't work, and you just go, oh, oopsie daisy, I guess we're doing it this way today, and then you just carry on. And that's one of
Yes.
those premises of
Yeah. It's
create
so
from
good that you
versus react
teach
to.
them.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a big fan of rehearsal.
Yes.
Every professional that I have worked with, and I have worked with a lot of rock stars, and I got a chance to work with Oprah on her 2020 tour. Oprah rehearses. She's Oprah, and she rehearses before every show. She's 2 hours on stage running her material. She was interviewing Lady Gaga, and she had a book this big, a background material that her team had put together to before she did the interview. She rehearses, she prepares, she practices, she warms up, and she's Oprah. So to think as a speaker that you're going to come in and just wing it and be any good is a mistake.
Yeah.
Everybody rehearses, everybody practices. You just don't see it in the background, but it needs to be part of it. And when you practice and your slides go out, well, you know the material enough that you can just continue, but you have to be rehearsed and practiced. And a lot of people, because they don't see it, they don't know that it's important. But I know you teach that. So such good
Yeah.
information.
Right. Yes, and absolutely. You know, getting one of the ways that we recommend is that you rehearse, and then and while you're rehearsing, you're recording yourself. It could
Mm.
even just be the audio, and then put that audio onto your headphones, take a walk, and then listen back to it. And that is the fastest way to get that material into your bones really quickly, especially if you are down to the last couple of days, and you really want to get it into your bones. That's the best way. Would you agree?
Oh, so smart. Yes. And listening to yourself talk takes practice, because the first time you see yourself on video, the first time you hear yourself, you hate it.
Yeah,
You hate it. And as long as you're
yeah,
prepared for that, that's good though. And you get used to it. And then you can listen. And by listening to it, you realize, oh, that didn't really work. Or I kind of flubbed that. And I need to slow down when I speak. And all of that is self-teaching through the listening and studying your own work in your own
yeah,
material. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Absolutely. So now with the 3 day, walk us through what would be if somebody signed up to work with you, and you've got a live example. You said the gal in Amsterdam. And so where is she at that she is leveraging a 3 day program, and is she overcoming any of her own resistance?
Oh, absolutely. So she has been, as I said, offering this masterminds and retreats in a smaller 30 to 40 person container, and that has been very successful for her. And she just created this new 12-month program where she had been bringing people through for 4 months, and highly successful. And they were done, and they're like, okay, what next? And she said, well, we can go deeper. I've got a 12-month offering that I want to do. And the best way to offer that is in a 3-day event, because people really do get to know you. And then on the first day and the second day, you can make that offer, and then they can think about it on the second day. And then the third day, they can make that decision, and it's a whole emotional process. When you're talking about a higher ticket offer, people need time to process it, figure out where the money's coming from. Like, do I need this? Going through their own doubts and their own roller coaster that happens when you're about to invest in yourself, and understanding that and creating space for it. That's what a 3-day does. And so she has
Mm.
decided to move into a 3-day event, and she's teaching a little bit every day from that 12-month offering. So it's seeded through the entire event. And she's also going to bring a couple other speakers that support what it is that she does. Doesn't compete, but support to make it even more valuable. So there's more of a takeaway from that.
Mm.
And because she's working with practitioners, yesterday we were talking about, okay, can we turn this into CE credits? So then there's another reason to come, or to have their firm pay for it. So we're
Yeah.
talking about the strategy of like who's in the room, and why, what are we speaking to, what's the best value we can give them, and then what is the best way for them to step into the working with you for 12 months. And so that's why she had chosen to go into that 3-day, which is a stretch for her. So what's coming up for her is more about the expense of it, or am I going to get butts in seats, and how are we going to fill 3 days? Like, what is the content going to be? So that's how I'm holding her hand and helping her walk through that, and to get to that other side of that anxiety, because when you're doing
Yeah.
something new, it's big,
Right.
and yeah, it's it's been really good to be able to support wherever she is coming from. And she is in touch with her feelings, because she's a somatic, practitioner. So she's able to be like, I'm really feeling this. And that is a process, just so you know, when you're planning an event, that is a process that happens. And to not be
Mhm.
afraid of it, because it's part of that expansion of your body telling you, all the fears come up because you're about to get to the other side, to that next big thing. So there's always a moment in this process where I'm holding the host through the breakdown. And because
Yeah.
it's just inevitable if you're doing it
Right.
right, if you're expanding into something for yourself, that, and so that's part of my job too.
Yeah. I love that. And so just the natural hesitancy of, oh my God, what did I sign up for? Can I
Mm-hmm.
really deliver this? Do I really have that much content? You kind of help thread that needle all the way through, so that it can really be they can really stay in their stretch, in their expansion, and not get sort of taken over by the doubts and the fears of, where are we going to get folks? Are people going to come? I know that's one that I deal with, is just, do people have enough time for 3 days? I know I could
Mm-hmm.
create that event, but do they realistically have the time to step away?
Right.
And
So then
and
you're going back to your promise. Like, it's got to be really good in order for them to move their life around, to travel, to be there for 3 days, which they
right,
will.
yeah, yeah. So, and are you seeing the same amount of so are events on the rise? Given AI, given that people are disconnected, companies are cutting back on events here and there, and maybe to their peril, because
Mm-hmm.
bringing people together is really the fastest way to scale. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's the fastest way to create connection, to create that long-term relationship that will turn into working together on different projects and bringing them into your programs, and giving them the transformation that they're needing. Is it, because
Hmm.
it takes time. It takes time, but being in person, it accelerates that time
Yeah.
for sure. And yeah, what I'm finding is that there is shifting, especially in the last 6 months. There has been a lot of shifting, especially from corporations of like, okay, we're only going to do one event this year, or we're not going to do it as big. I'm finding with my leaders and coaches that they're doing smaller events, and they're it's surprising, but the impact is as good. 100 people in a room can be a six-figure event. So if you have 100 people, you sell about 30%. Like if you've got a $10,000 package, like the numbers work out, and it costs you less, and
Yeah.
it gives you 100 people you can get your arms around and really make it feel more intimate. So if there is a shift that's going on right now, it's more towards intimacy and not scale,
Yeah.
and maybe even quantity. Like, we're going to do a 100-person event, but we're going to do it 4 times.
Yeah.
And I shift my clients from events that are hybrid, because they're very expensive. And hybrid means that you have people in the room, and you're also broadcasting via Zoom or live stream in some way. That can be very expensive, and I find that the ROI on that does not work out, because
Hmm.
as a speaker, and this, it's a much different audience working a Zoom room and working a real room. And to
Right.
do both of those at the same time, it requires a very special skill. And I've only met one person in my tenure that can do it well, and that's Lisa Nichols. Like, she is a maverick. She's
Oh, wow.
amazing, but it's very difficult. And I don't I what I recommend instead is that you do one in-person event, and then you do one hybrid event, and you make them
Yeah.
different events or the same event, because you don't want to lose that audience that is virtual, because it's amazing, and COVID opened that up to us, and you don't want to lose that. So don't stop doing virtual events, but have both, but not at
I
the same
love it.
time.
Yes. Okay, great. And so any tips or ideas for, well, what's the sweet spot of how long on a virtual program then? Same, 3 days?
I would do two on a virtual program.
Okay.
And while they're there virtually, make sure they're moving and up and running, and make sure that you're utilizing those breakout rooms, that you are giving them something to do other than sit and watch. And there are a myriad of things that you can do to make it more interactive and make them feel more like they're in a room in person, when you're doing it virtually. So the art is not lost of intimacy just because you're virtual. It just has to be intentional of
Yeah,
what you do with those attendees.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you think about, and this is maybe more granular and may not apply to everybody who might be listening, but curious, when is your ideal time to drop that offer on a 3-day in-person program? When do you start letting people know? First of all, do you mention it even in the first day? Tomorrow you're going
Mm-hmm.
to see us actually model an offer and delivering an offer to you, so that you can see what an authentic offer sounds like, looks like, feels like. And when is the best
Yes.
time to do that?
That is beautifully said. Yes. And it of course depends on your audience, on if, you're teaching them how to make an offer, or they are just there to continue with your services. But always,
Sure.
I think it is a good idea to start in the first session, to just kind of seed the fact that, hey, we're gonna be talking to you how to work with us further tomorrow, just to let you know. So if that's something you're interested in, we'll be talking about it then, and you're just kind of putting it in their brain. Oh, there's something bigger I can be thinking about. And then you do your best content on day 2, right before the offer. So
Okay.
we like to do our best content right before lunch, and then come back from lunch, and we do a panel of your past clients. So there's 5 or 6 clients, about 45 minutes, that are talking about the work they've done with you, and where they were before and where they are now. And then that sets up the host to talk about how the audience, can then take advantage of this offer, and be where these panel participants are. So
Yeah.
day 2, after lunch, before the
Okay,
second
day 2
break.
after lunch. Love it.
Yeah.
And then do you, and I know some of the programs we've been in together, where
Mm-hmm.
then it's doing live coaching with people who are considering it.
Mm-hmm.
and where you're actually involving the audience. And okay, we have 15 seats that we're selling in our group program, and we have 5 left. Now, is that part of, if that's part of what you, which I am, I'm helping people scale and sell in order to scale their companies.
Mm.
And
So needed.
so speaking is obviously part of that speaker skill set, but then also the sales skill set of being an enrollment ambassador, being that, demonstrating that mother skill of enrollment, of we want you, we want to bring you behind the curtain of, okay, we have 4 seats left, we have 3 seats left. Do you like that model in terms of the involvement that it brings?
Yes, and it creates momentum and excitement within the container of the event, and also special bonuses that they get for being proactive while they're there. A discount, a bonus, a special luncheon with the hosts that they can only get when they make that decision while they're in the room. Those are all wonderful uh, bonuses and attractive reasons to say yes.
Mm. Yeah, and do you have any other bonuses that you've seen really work for speakers?
Oh, well, when we've worked with events that have multiple speakers, the host who is the one that's making the offer will work with the speakers to take a piece of what they're talking about and weave that into the offer. So they not only get the 12-month coaching with the host, they also get a 45-minute call with this speaker and a session with this speaker, and that whatever it is they're offering. So then it's all
Right.
inclusive, um, big big offer that they get to take advantage of for an exciting price.
Mm,
Yeah.
great.
And so they get to learn from everybody. They get to continue to learn. So that's a great way to do it. Also special coaching sessions, or special more time really with the coaches or the hosts, that is a little more intimate and not a group session.
Hmm. And where are you marketing yourself? And how should people get a hold of you also to learn more about your work, to see any tutorials, master classes, join anything you might be doing?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, right now I'm in the process of doing another media mastery course where I'm teaching my clients, who are engaging with the media, about best practices to do that. And you can follow me on Instagram. It's Ace Your Event, ACEYOUR event. And that's where I'm going to be posting my master classes. And I also do a
Okay.
profitable event masterclass that one's free, that they can come and learn how to make money and save money in their events that they're currently hosting. So that's where
Mm,
to find out about all of that.
okay. And do you have a YouTube channel or
I
something
do
along
not
those
have a
lines for
YouTube
those?
channel.
There's
No,
some
but
of
thank
us who are
you.
not on Instagram, so
Oh, okay. So YouTube is
so
the way.
YouTube is the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So
definitely
not
encourage
as of
you to.
yet.
Not as of yet. Okay, great. Well, I look forward to updating the show notes with your YouTube channel that might come, but we'll definitely put your Instagram handle in the show notes so you can find Angela there. And as we bring our conversation to a close, I'd love to hear if there's anything else that you wanted me to ask, or I didn't ask, or I should be leaning into a question here that would really help bring us home.
The question is, well, the thing, if you're out there going, I don't know if I should do an event, it seems hard, it seems like a lot, there are resources out there to support you. And always, what I have done in the last year for my business, which I think has been the best thing, is resourcing myself with like-minded people like yourself, getting in circles of people that are of the same mindset and who are supportive, collaborative, and not competitive. And those circles exist. And so if you're stuck in one of those competitive, people don't understand what you're doing, like, why are you doing this? and not supportive, get yourself in a supportive group, because it will elevate you
Mm.
to not only show up for work every day with good cheer, but also to expand you and to see what's possible, because they will be your mirrors of what's possible when those doubts and those scaries come in and tell you, why are you doing this? You don't deserve to do an event.
Yeah, who do
Don't
you
listen
think
to
you
that.
are being so
Exactly.
amazing? Right.
Right. And so surround yourself with support and
Yeah.
and cheerleaders. And don't be ashamed of it, because we all need it. And it's
Yeah.
imperative to get you where you're going.
Yeah, I just did a wonderful testimonial. Our some of you who are following us on YouTube may know we have testimonial videos of our clients as well. And one of mine just recently said to not let pride get in the way of hiring someone like me as a coach, or Angela as a producer, because the advantages become a force multiplier. So you
Mm.
have your event, but you have no idea how much it could grow your business by simply doing a 3-day event, having it also videotaped, which we would recommend, so that then now you have some content you can repackage, you can retool and put it out there. So having somebody to guide your way like Angela, I mean, I highly recommend her service. I know that she's helped tons of the friends and colleagues that I have as coaches. I plan to use her for my 3-day event that I would like to lean into. And I sort of feel like you're a gal in Amsterdam with, okay, that's a big gulp. And
Mm-hmm.
I know it's time. So it is our time to shine. It's our time to showcase our work and truly help people transform their lives.
Yes, and there are experts out there. Hire the experts. Save
Yeah.
yourself countless hours of time and mistakes, because I've already done all of them.
Yeah, you
And
have.
I've lived to tell. And that's another interview. Just some
Yeah.
horror stories from you and I. We could share those with the audience. But we've done it. We know what can go wrong, and we can navigate you through it.
Yeah, I mean, whether it be, I know when we're on our road show going to different states to do our programs, you have the best intentions, but then you get a flat tire, and now you're in the middle
Yeah.
of a highway, and you gotta suit and show up and get out there and direct traffic. So your teammates can change the tire, whatever it might be, or now your internet doesn't work. And so we're hobbling our Starlink to go, to support the hotel that said they had enough bandwidth, but then they don't. So great, we've got our Starlink, we'll set it up. Now we're good to go. It's all those sort of in the moment experiences that having somebody who's been there, who hasn't read about it, who hasn't thought about it, but actually has done it. And Angela, you are that person. So,
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's
yes,
hard earned, but I'm happy to share all my wisdom.
yay, great. So we'll follow you. Everybody follow Angela at Ace Your Event on Instagram,
Hmm.
and we'll drop your contact info in the show notes so everybody's got that as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, you're so welcome. We're thrilled to know you, to have you on our team, and encourage everybody to lean into events. People are wanting that connection. People are feeling more disconnected and lonely than ever. Remote work, we know, is here to stay. But at the same time, we do have to create those experiences, whether they're in person or virtually, to create that community. And that's what people are so longing for right now.
For sure. Thank you.
Great.